really good performance by our team. You know, we've really played well 7 out of the last 8 halves, even though we only won 1 game on the road in that stretch. When you go back as a coach and evaluate your team's performance, we played very well against Louisville, played very well in both halves against Pittsburgh, and then obviously the first half of the Virginia game I thought we played good. So as my message at halftime today was, I told our guys, that's 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7 halves that you've played very well, and now we need to make it 7 out of 8 to finish this game. And we knew Syracuse was going to make a run at us. We knew that it would be a little, ugly at times in the second half. They did some good adjustments in the zone. And obviously they came after us late there a bunch with traps and fouls, and they didn't have any fouls, so now every time they're coming after you they can foul really hard and try to go for steals. And we never really, I don't think they got under 10, so we kept them at bay and did what we needed to do, got some big stops. I thought our rebounding was great. I thought our defensive game plan was great. I thought the execution was fantastic by our players, their defensive discipline. Rod was incredible with Cooney today, just locked in. I wasn't taking him out unless they took Cooney out. And then I didn't even take him out at the end until the last 12 seconds or something. So, but this is a big win. Good win by our players. I thought they've played consistently well for a while now.
You talked about Rod's defense, but also he made some big shots in the first and late there in the second half, and they made their run.
He did, and certainly, we made 8 threes today. We made 8 threes at Pittsburgh. We've won both those games in the league, and that's obviously a big part of our team. We struggle to score sometimes. When you make shots like you did today, it energizes you. It energizes your crowd. It gets everybody a little extra hop in their step, and I think it keeps the defensive pressure on. And I think there have been times this year where we've tried hard, but we run out of gas a little bit. We get a little tired. We get a little frustrated because we can't score. And when we do make shots, we're a dangerous team. And took care of the ball in the first half, good execution, and then guys just stepped up and made shots. It's as simple as that. And we certainly needed them tonight.
Is there any key ingredient as to how Rod played Cooney tonight, or is that just mainly all about effort, just not letting him shake free?
It's effort and discipline. Cooney is uncanny in his ability to search out the ball. Guys penetrate, he's always moving to try to get a shot, and it takes unbelievable discipline to not react to penetration and turn your head and stare at the ball. And now he cuts one way, they're throwing it to him, and he's just like, he creates his own offense as well as anybody from a shooting standpoint that you'll see. In terms of just on the move, catch and shoot, you'll down a ball screen to the baseline. He throws it back to the postman, and as the ball's in the air back, he's already chasing it down for a flip back, almost like the NBA, and just get his shot off. And you just can't let up at all. And it takes unbelievable effort, spirit, but it also takes intelligence and discipline, and Rod has both.
Seemed like there was a good team effort there on the defensive end. In the man-to-man, you've been playing a lot of zone recently. What was different about the man today that it worked so well?
Well, we took out a good player, and then I thought Landry and City really fought against Christmas. Christmas, they weren't allowed to just throw the ball to Christmas, and that was going to be their offense, and play through him. We made it hard for him to get the ball. He scored some of his baskets on rebound putbacks and drives and dishes where those guys have to come help, so it's really not their fault. They did a phenomenal job of just guarding him, limiting post touches, and just making him work. Now, he's a terrific player and still got 20, but those guys did a good job of just making it hard for them to get into rhythm of their offense through him, and that was a big part of our defensive plan.
Take out Christmas, they missed their first 16 shots from the field. How much of that was them just not hitting?
There's a combination. I mean, certainly I think our defense had something to do with it. I think we were in guys' faces on a lot of shots and got them hurried, and the longer, we've seen that movie. The longer it goes where you don't make, it gets harder. You get an open shot, the basket's not as big, and that's what happened to them a little bit. And it's like, Mike or Richie, one of the two said, hey, there's a media coming, let's take Rod out for 1 minute and just let him get a break. I'm not letting Rod out and taking him out to let Cooney get a shot on somebody else. If he makes a shot, it could go crazy. You let a guy like that make one, and then all of a sudden the basket looks bigger, and now he's going to make 4. And the longer you keep them quiet, the more you have a chance to hold them down for the day. And really, it's kind of the same way with other players, is when you don't score, it just magnifies, and it becomes a little more stressful on your team. And your defense isn't quite as good. And I would tell you that I'm sure when they watch film, Coach Boeheim's going to say, you know, some of their defense not being as good in the first half was because their offense wasn't as good and they didn't play their zone as energized as till he talked to them at halftime and probably got their attention. So I think another example of that.
You said you needed 7 or 8 3-pointers to win today, and you got that. How good did that feel?
I'm just happy for our players. You know, I've said for a while that I think Dante's going to have a game here where he makes, 4 or 5 threes. You know, I think he made 3 at Pittsburgh. You know, he's a capable shooter. He's a better shooter than his stats show. You know, it's ironic because I think he airballed one and he maybe hit the side of the backboard with one, like his first 2. And I brought him over to the side when I took him out. I'm like, you a little excited today or what? And he's such a laid-back kid. He's just smiling and enjoying himself. And I said, relax, make the next one, you're fine. And, he did, and he played very well after that.
A couple of the players talked about the players on the team after the game at Virginia. You've talked about leadership on this team for a couple of years. Does that help, seeing that accountability?
I'm sure in the players' mind, the players-only meeting is the reason we won. I'm glad that the guys, got focused and it was just a bad half at Virginia, and I was upset with a couple players, a couple of starters that have gotten a lot of minutes that I don't think. I thought their defense, it's the example of not making shots. Their defense goes away from them, and. So I'm sure that carried over, and our guys have had to learn how to deal with adversity better. And there have been times we've dealt with adversity fine. The Louisville game, we gave up a 17-0 run, and then I thought we outplayed Louisville the next 8 minutes to cut it to 2. In Pittsburgh, they made a run on us, tied it. We got our minds right, played really well down the stretch, won the game. But we've had a couple games where we haven't done that. South Carolina's won, and North Carolina we didn't play well at all. So we've had a couple games where we just haven't, in Virginia's second half, where we haven't responded to the adversity. Now, a lot of teams can point to that. It's a challenge, but that's one of the steps we have to make as a team is our guys got to cut the runs of the opponent in half.
Aaron, what should a win help with the quick turnaround that you have?
You hope so. This is a heck of a stretch. Everybody talked about the first 5 games. You guys talked about it. Probably my staff talked about it. Everybody, you look at the schedule and you look at the first 5 because it's Syracuse ending it, as that 5th one. But then the 6th one is, I don't even know, 48 hours later, and it's, this is one of those where you want to enjoy it and feel good about it, but you can't. You got to get ready because you got a team coming in that's a little wounded and, certainly capable of beating us in a sound way. They did it last year here, and so we're going to have, our reserves ready. We're going to have great effort. When it's hard to score, you have to play with tremendous effort and discipline to win, and we'll have to do that on Monday night.
Those first 5 games that you talked about, or in your mind 6, a lot of people talk about how difficult it was, but today it seemed like some of the lessons learned maybe came around and gave you some positive contribution in terms of teaching you guys how to win maybe a little bit. Can you talk about that?
Well, I hope so because, we go to Louisville after getting smacked pretty hard by North Carolina, and I don't think anybody thought we would probably stay within 20. And, we really rallied our guys, I think, and got them in a mental place with a plan that, hey, fellas, we can give them a heck of a run here now. If you'll follow what we do and we execute, we'll have a chance in the last 5 minutes to win this game. But we got to be better. And, so I think we took a lot of confidence from that game. And then to go on the road and follow that up and our reserves to play well at Pitt, to energize us, to make shots, to get a great road win, energized us. I thought we were really ready for Virginia, played hard. We've played 2 top 5, 10 teams, whatever it is. We played in some of the best arenas in the country. We've survived it. And I think that experience helped give us confidence today. And you make a couple shots, and now all of a sudden you feel pretty good about your game and your team, and go play.
Brett, how do you feel where your team is? Because as you mentioned, you've had the Rutgers, the South Carolina.
I'm never as high or as low as everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else is ready to jump on, jump off. I mean, it's like the death of our season in November and December. It's just been awful around here, and I've said we're going to have some really good games this year. We're going to play well against Arkansas. We're going to, beat LSU. We're going to beat Syracuse. But we're going to have some games just like last year where we had games where we played poorly and got smashed. And some of that is until we become a better offensive team, and we got to address that in recruiting and just in the way we play, where we can score more points easily or score more easily. We're going to have some nights where it's a struggle for us. When you play some of the teams that have the talent that we play against and they get on a roll and your defense isn't quite as good, that's a recipe to get blown out by 20. And, I think I made a smart decision with our team in the second half of Virginia to put some guys on the bench, and we got beat worse. We weren't going to win when it was 15, but we got beat 25 or whatever it was. But a message was sent to my team, and sometimes you do that as a coach. In the South Carolina game, I put some guys on the bench when we were getting smashed there for a little bit. I knew the game was out of reach. Let them sit there and just feel what that feels like a little bit, to understand, we got to do better. And the guys who play 30 minutes a game, it's more of your responsibility. And they have to own those types of things. Sometimes they don't always understand that.
Last question, Paul. 2 weeks ago, the building in North Carolina, their fans were here, made an impact. This was a decidedly pro-Clemson crowd today, another full building. What
You have to
kind of effect
play.
did that have?
You have to play. I mean, we didn't give our fans any hope that night, and that's on us. And I told our players that. You had a very good crowd come watch you against North Carolina, hoping to cheer for you, and you didn't give them anything to cheer about. And that's on you. As a player and as a team and as a program, we have to put a product on the floor that our fans are appreciate and support. And you would hope that your fans are going to support you through some difficult times. The real fans do. They support us when we don't play as well a couple of times. We're not as talented some ways as some other teams, and we have to do a lot of things right to win games, and especially in a league like this. But when we play the way we played tonight, your fans are as good as anybody at getting behind us, supporting us, and making this a tough place. And that was evident today, and it certainly helped us win the game.